the Steelers beat the Seahawks 23-20 in overtime last night. Roethlisberger threw for 229 yards and a touchdown, and Pittsburgh improved to 3-3 on the season to stay in the postseason mix in the AFC. Shannon, here's the question. Are the Steelers a playoff team?
I still don't believe they are, Skip. I'm not getting excited about 2 wins against the Denver Broncos and Geno Smith led Seattle when both games came down to the wire. Skip, Ben is not that. He's dependent on a defense now. Skip, Ben had 7 guys that caught a pass. Not one guy had a 10-yard average or better. Not one.
Okay.
What the highest was 9.0, 7.9, 8.3, 7.7, 8.5, 5.0. He's not pushing the ball down the field. It's Skip, that was Geno. You know Geno going Geno, but to his credit, I don't know what they were thinking because they got into a rhythm. First down, run. Second down, let's try to pass, and we don't get it now. So what do you think T.J. Watt's looking to do? Let's shut off this run and get them into a situation where it's 2nd and 10, and we know they're going to have to throw the ball.
How good is T.J. Watt?
T.J. Watt, he's exceptional.
Is he maybe the best defensive player in football? Is he rivaling that guy for the Rams?
He's not
getting in the ballpark?
He getting that skill.
Yep.
Okay, when you say park, we're talking about Yellowstone. We're talking about Yosemite. He's in that park. But Aaron Donald's on a whole new Skip. We're talking about a guy that's possibly going to go down as the greatest defensive player ever. That's where Aaron Donald was headed. Now, give T.J. Watt credit, Skip.
He wreaks more havoc right now than Aaron Donald does.
No. He doesn't get the Skip. They're doubling and tripling. They doing steal shots. They got 3 guys trying to block Aaron Donald. Yesterday, they doubled him, and he split the double team and tackled the guy for a loss. But T.J. Watt is special. But, Skip, here's the thing. The Steelers still have 2 games against the Ravens. They got 2 games against the Browns. They're going to probably split, probably win that one. Cincinnati is not that Cincinnati anymore.
Nope.
And they still at Chargers, at Chiefs, Titans.
Okay.
So we're going to find out a lot more about them because, they're still last in the division. I don't know if you know, I don't like to break the news to you. Or, I rest your soul, Walter Cronkite. So I don't like to interrupt our normally scheduled program to break this news. The Pittsburgh Steelers are last in the AFC North.
Walter Cronkite's way before my time. He might be in your time, not in mine.
You know Walter Cronkite was the gold standard in the news, Skip.
Back in the old days.
He was. We grew up, and then he signed off in 1981, and Dan Rather took over. We watched CBS do it.
Wow.
Sorry about that, Pop. You had to have news that was going on.
No. I am not betting against, number 1, Mike Tomlin, number 2, T.J. Watt, and number 3, Big Ben Roethlisberger. If you want to call him Medium Ben Roethlisberger.
He ain't Big Ben no more.
Big, okay. I got it. But last night, in the middle of the 3rd quarter, he made a couple of throws that had Chris Collinsworth coming out of his seat.
But he comes out of his seat on everybody.
Well, he does not. And again, you don't listen, but I do. And I took this to heart. If we could see these 2 plays to Deontay Johnson, that's the first one. It was just a sweet throw, just a zone beater. And then he came right back and threw another one. And that's just big. Oh, that's the first one again. Here's the second one. And that's Big Ben. Okay, he can't move anymore, but he can read and he can sling. Yeah. That's what he can do, read and sling. And he just has a touch. He has a feel for how to win football games.
Skip, he hit Adams in the face with the ball. The game, that should have been a pick 6 to the house.
Right. The same Jamal Adams who was raving about, I'm the best in the country.
He's best in the nation.
Best in the nation, yeah. Okay, thank you. So the point is, he's still good enough. Collinsworth says he's still fighting some hip injury. I'm sure he's beat all to hell.
Yeah.
I think it started with the motorcycle accident way back when. I think he took a couple of years off his career.
He probably did.
That one because he went completely over the handlebars and over the hood of a car with no helmet on.
Right.
And I don't know how he walked away from that.
Correct.
But he's probably still a little limpy just from that.
And then the punishment that he's taking because, Big Ben held on to the ball to the very, very last possible second. So he's taking some shots because of the style of football that he's played at that position. But I just don't see it, Skip. Hey, you could prove me wrong, but I still, with the 2 games against the Ravens, the Browns, at Cincinnati, at Chargers, at Chiefs.
Okay, they drafted him a battering ram of a back. And I'm not saying that he's taken over the league yet. His numbers are not astounding. They're not Derrick Henry kind of numbers, but Najee Harris went 24 times for 81 yards. At least he established himself. He caught 6 balls for 46
That's where he's been really, really big valuable. I mean, because Ben can check it down, and he's going to get you.
To him. And I feel in fear for Najee because at the rate they're using him, they're going to use him up in like 2 years.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you're going to talk about high collision, high contact.
Yeah, he's getting 30. He's getting 30 touches a game. But I guess, Skip, that's youth. It's like, hey, let's go ahead and get it out of him because they ain't really trying to get to the running back now these days. It's hard for a running back to get to his second contract. But I just don't see what you see, Skip. I don't. Defensively, they're with T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward. They're really good. They're
Devin
really
Bush.
good.
Yep.
Devin Bush, yeah. They got some Minka Fitzpatrick. They got Joe Hayden. They got some guys that can make some plays. But offensively, Skip,
what you just said about the Ravens, the pride in that locker room, you also said it compares to what is in Pittsburgh.
The Steelers, they have a Skip defense. The Steelers were always, you go back to the 70s, what do they know? Steel curtain.
Yep.
With Joe Green and all those great Hall of Famers.
Well, they had some of the gold jackets there last night.
Yeah.
Franco and your man Rod Wilson.
Rod Wilson, yeah. Mel Blount.
Did he not change the way the cornerback position was played?
The institute, that's where the 5-yard rule came into effect.
Yep.
Because he was just taking guys and they 10 yards down the field, he's throwing them up on the bench.
I covered Super Bowl 10, Pittsburgh versus Dallas, the first time around, and they did it again in 13, right after the 79 season. And Mel Blount just punished them, remember Golden Richard?
Oh, yeah, he was too small.
Oh, well, he had like 7 ribs broken in that.
Well, how many, was like 14 Hall of Famers on the field at that one time?
The second one.
In the second one.
Yes. I've never seen anything like it. 14, never, ever. 14
Hall of Famers.
Yeah, the most I've ever seen. The collection of talent was the greatest that day in the Orange Bowl.
And they had 10 on one team. Their defense, I mean, you look at their defense, they had him and Joe Green and Donnie Shell and Mel Blount. I said Mel Blount, but Jack Lambert, Jack Ham. Yep. They were loaded. You can make a case for L.C. Greenwood being in the Hall of Fame. 35-31 Pittsburgh because my man Jackie Smith couldn't hang on to a little pop pass. Yeah. He misjudged it, Skip. He misjudged him, he hit him,
and all he was great.
He in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
It happens.
It happens. Okay. Guys, a future Hall of Famer just called Dak Prescott a top 3 quarterback. A top 3 quarterback. We'll give you the details on who it was after the break. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens ran over, around, and through the Chargers to the tune of a 34-6 blowout win. Lamar threw 1 touchdown in addition to spearheading Baltimore's always potent rushing attack. The Ravens won their 5th straight and now sit atop the entire AFC. So, Shannon, how high do you have Lamar ranked in the MVP race?
Skip is really close. There are a lot of guys that's in that from Brady to you throw Rodgers if you want to throw Rodgers in there. But I think Brady, Murray, Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford. But Skip, for me, I got Lamar. Skip, I don't think anybody is more responsible for their team winning and losing than Lamar Jackson. And what he showed us the previous 2 games is that teams say, you are not going to run the football, Lamar. The Broncos held him, and he took the last second. Instead of a kneel down skip, they scrambled and got 8 yards to go over 100. Yep. But he threw for 316 that day. And the coach says, we refuse. We're not going to even put you in that situation. Even if you try to get in the victory formation and run, we're going to hold. They had him to like 80-something. And he throws for 442, 4 touchdowns, and the walk-off in overtime. So for me, Skip, nobody, it seems to me, when he plays well, everybody plays well. Look at the way their defense, and we know what Justin Herbert has been this entire season, and they made him look very pedestrian yesterday.
That's a compliment, actually. I think that you're giving him a break with pedestrian.
Skip, think about it. They've lost their top 3 running backs. They got Devontae Freeman. He couldn't find a team the last 2 years. No. Le'Veon Bell, nobody wanted him.
New Orleans didn't want
Latavius Murray. No. And they come in and they balling. Yep. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Look, if Devontae Freeman had a nice run. Murray had a run. Le'Veon doing his thing. And Hollywood dropped a touchdown yesterday.
He did.
That ball right on the money. You got to catch that one. You got to help your quarterback out on that situation, Hollywood. But, Skip, you look at what he is as a passer, and he's 7th in the NFL in rushing. And they're the top seed in the NFC. And, Skip, they beat the Colts. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Chiefs. They're for real. They're legit. And it looks like it's probably going to come down between them and Buffalo as the road to, I think, here in SoFi. Yep. It's probably going to go through one of those cities. That's where it's shaping up, Skip. So for me, I'm going to put Lamar. I know it's a very unpopular opinion, but I'm going to take Lamar because what I've seen from start to finish, they really should have won opening night. He didn't play well against the Raiders. Had the costly fumble. But since then, he's been marvelous.
I don't think it's unpopular. I think it'd be a popular opinion.
I think it's gaining steam now, Skip. I really do.
He's the easiest to root for of all these quarterbacks because his degree of difficulty has been the highest.
Right.
They have been decimated the way nobody has been decimated.
At some point in time, they were down left both tackles. As you mentioned, they were down both tackles. They lost Peters, who was one of their better defenders.
Okay. I'm sticking by my guy Brady.
You okay?
But it's getting closer by the throw or the run.
Yes.
So Brady has 17 touchdown passes to only 3 interceptions.
Right.
Brady has only 1 turnover-worthy play, which was the interception this last game
right.
that you and I went back and forth about. There was almost a second one, but they're not grading that as a turnover-worthy. Okay. So the point is he has 3 interceptions, but on opening night he had the Hail Mary attempt interception, and he had one that hit Leonard Fournette right in the hands and glanced off, and Diggs got it.
That
was
his emerging.